What about sustainability? Okay, we know new generations are really consumed by the idea of sustainable fashion, of renewables, and really talking about alternative materials and fabrics even.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your take on what's the future is gonna be? I mean, we see some of these trends already, right? Already taking up the market and consumers' imagination.
Yes, a few years ago, about 2 years ago, I actually, when I did some research on textile and textile waste, and the fashion industry is one of the most wasteful industries. And I came across this Finnish company. It's called Infinite Fiber. And they have now become, they were in their very early stages of business at that time. And they, I, I found it somewhere I was searching for sustainable fashion actually, because everybody is talking about the environment and we need a solution. And this is fantastic, Irene. You, I, I couldn't believe that they are able to take textile waste and turn it into and make a brand new fiber out of it, brand new textile for clothes, out of waste, out of jeans, out of any kind of garment waste. It's absolutely fabulous. And I know they were at COP26 in Glasgow, the conference organized by the UN on sustainability, and based on the Paris Agreement. And anyhow, you see more and more companies like that popping up. It's also generational. Their Gen Z is very conscientious about the environment, and Gen Y, the millennials, are in it, and they're in business, and they're starting businesses that are huge proponents of sustainability, SDGs, ESG embedded in their business plan. It's fascinating what's happening.
I read about innovative Internet of Things fashion trend.
Okay.
Have you come across, the sensors? I don't know, yoga pants.
The exciting part, actually, of the fashion industry and healthcare industry. They're merging. That's why I love neuroscience too. It all blends in together. People are asking me, why are you posting on neuroscience? Because I just love it. I love the last frontier is our brain anyhow. So AI is trying to imitate our brain, but there are sensors built into the fabric. There is at Harvard, there were some of the first ones doing it up at Harvard University, and actually the Wyss Institute, and they have these fibers that can even take your heart rate. They make actual, this is the latest I just saw. They're making T-shirts that can take your pulse, your body temperature, adjust to it, and also cool down your body. It's absolutely phenomenal where technology is going with that, in that respect.
Absolutely. So, what kind of, again, advices for the business and technical leaders out there? You also a marketing and content consultant. What
Yes.
kind of tips we can give out in a way that we do learn about latest trends? Know that not all of them making business sense. Okay,
Yeah.
for brands and companies out
Yeah.
there. So, where do you think the leaders should orient themselves? Because I know you're on forefront of content and marketing.
From an investment standpoint, definitely into the sustainable part. From an investment standpoint, definitely into the sustainable part. There are so many conferences that Gen Y millennials are doing. They're heavily involved in businesses like that, at trade shows. The UN definitely invest in companies that can produce textiles sustainably, in companies that provide great technology for the textile industry. Invest. The sensors definitely are. That's a huge thing, and it's in sports. It's in healthcare and in fashion. It's just great if you can have a garment that cools you down. And due to the temperature changes and global warming, I think garments like that are for our health much better as well. And I see it going that way. So I hope that somehow definitely investments in healthcare and fashion together.
You mentioned a very important point, how industries converging. You see professions converging, biotech and technology, and now, of course, neuroscience. You mentioned behavioral insights, of course, that blending together into that new world
Yeah.
that we're all entering. One more stat here, one more stat. So bringing our conversation down a digital transformation lane, if you don't mind, okay? So
Yes.
more than 60% of fashion executives believe creating integrated digital processes throughout the organization will be among their top 5 areas for digitalization. Okay, so
Yes.
just to say it in simple language, integrated digital processes for customer experiences, for employee experiences, and for the bottom line. Where do you see those digital transformation trends actually transforming fashion?
It's going to be huge. I see it transforming it from the waste standpoint, coming briefly back to the sustainability. I see much less waste, seamless value chains, supply chains. The blockchain is going to be huge in helping there. Also, proof of origin, where this technology is going to help huge in that respect. The proof of origin of where the garment is from and so forth. Definitely. Supply chain is huge, but also at the same time, manufacturing can be in place. And that's where I see a huge movement. Like with this infinite fiber, if they have more locations, and I think they do now, then manufacturing can close production can happen more locally, and you don't have to fly all over the world shipping things, shipping material, and that's where I see a huge savings for the future. But yeah, definitely supply chain is huge for me. I think manufacturing, you're going to save a lot of money there, and that's great news for the fashion industry. Also, again, the sustainability issue, waste. It's a beautiful thing. So AI to the rescue, really, it's helping in so many respects. And yes, with IoT, Internet of Things, from the store apps, indoor apps in retail stores, from that to production of the clothing, it could be actually even done in the back of the stores. I could see it that way. The customization is going to be fantastic in the future.